that's just biology, right? That's biological sex right there.
That is biology, but you're showing, naked pictures of.
But they're not sexualized, right? Like you said, these are not, you said yourself, these aren't sexual creatures yet.
I would
So
like to
it's just
preserve my
anatomy.
kids' innocence and not have my, daughter know what a boy's penis is.
What's
which is
innocent
fine.
about that? What does that have to do with innocence? It's
Well,
just
we can make that.
science.
So here's one I
Well,
hope you
no,
agree
but
is not
that's
so innocent.
important. It's important. Please, before we go forward, that matters. Because what you're saying is that the scientific, non-sexual, anatomical, really not threatening.
It's a sense of
graphic.
modesty. There's no sense of modesty.
See, that's not a scientific answer.
Well,
So you're saying you want to base sex education on science?
In
That is-
kindergarten.
In kindergarten.
That's not a sexual picture, that's
Well,
just,
no,
and
no,
that's your
but-
opinion.
but the
That's
whole,
not
the whole
sexual.
point that we disagree about
But
that
you
proves
said
my
at the
point.
beginning, these aren't sexual creatures, so I don't understand, I don't understand, you said it's about modesty, which
Yes.
is not, it's not a.
So when it comes to parental rights, there are values, right, and there's science, and there's different interpretations, both the values and science. I'm saying, let's let parents pick the values and science that they agree with for this. And then the kind of person goes, wait, because I think you have every right to teach that to your kids. That's
It's not-
fine. I just wouldn't want to touch mine. That's all I'm asking. Like,
I don't want
why are you saying that's okay for my kids? I'm saying it's not. You're saying it's okay for yours. Great, we can agree to disagree. Let's just keep it at that.
No, but I thought you said it was biological sex and its anatomy. So we're not talking about
You're kind of-
sexuality, we're not talking
So I
about.
defined what male and female was, right, in terms of biological sex definition. That's different than this discussion showing kindergartners pictures of the actual anatomy. Those are different topics.
I don't understand why it's controversial.
All right, we gotta move on, but let me,
Without, but
there'll be
now
time for
you're-
Q&A at the end too, just, I promise
But
you, go back.
you're
Hey,
inserting.
our main speaker actually is not getting to talk, so I need to get through this, by the way. So the other thing is, so there's a sex trafficking video FCPS was thinking about. They ultimately decided that wasn't going to be used at the grade level that they originally were thinking. So I watched this video on my computer, and then up comes another video, which I hope would never come up at FCPS if the kids were watching this on the computer, which is how many times can you masturbate in a day? And this is from Amaze, which is the group that's associated with Advocates for Youth. And it literally said, you have a kid apparently masturbating to internet porn, and he's saying, oh yeah, so yeah, he's actually making orgasm noises, and I think a lot of parents would think that's inappropriate.
Why are you showing this in this presentation?
Because
What does this, you could go on the,
You just said
Because
it's
it
not going to
feeds
be
into-
shown.
no, he said this is not part of the curriculum, this isn't even being considered.
But this
a
is
part.
something that would come up as, it did for me, it came up, I
This
viewed
is
the video that you were
ridiculous.
considering,
I
and
wish.
this is the next one that came
I
up.
wish it was ridiculous, but this
Yeah.
actually comes up because
No,
that came up.
this is
came up
not,
with me.
this is
You
not
just
part
said it's
of
not
the
being
sex
considered,
education
so it should
curriculum
be
even being
included.
considered in Frederick County.
The
Why
point
is
is
it part of your
that,
presentation?
Well, ma'am,
It was a different.
So the video that he's talking about is part of the maze, okay?
yes.
They
That's
actually thought it
right.
was too cartoonish and want to actually have it go to be seen by younger grades. But when you watch that video on YouTube, which I'm sure you've gone on YouTube, right? So when you watch video, other videos pop up right after. What he's saying is that when he watched the video that was proposed by FCPS, this
This
was the
came up.
video that came up right after.
Right, but you
It
know
was
how social
recommended.
media works, right?
It was
So
recommended.
that,
Yeah.
this being part of your presentation tonight, as if it is in the context of.
No, we all
I was
understand
pretty
it's not.
explicit in the slides and
Yeah,
part
it's
of
not.
to say it was
But
not.
there is no purpose for it. You,
It-
what's
it
your
is.
purpose of
Because the
including
point-
this,
the
other
point
than
is-
that your social media platform auto-generated a next video?
Correct, because if kids go to watch any of the Amaze videos, this is the one that come up, and there's others like this. So if you use an Amaze video, and this becomes a resource that kids are supposed to do, to look at.
This is
This is-
pointless
It
information.
had
And then-
personalized advertising,
No,
that's
it's
yours,
not,
not the
because
kids.
that actually
So
comes
Of
up.
course it did, that's YouTube. That has nothing to do with FCPS's
The other-
sexual
No,
education.
the other part of this is-
YouTube is what
There's,
what they're
there's-
using though. That's the platform they're using.
No, that is not how it
All right.
works.
So the next thing is there's no limit as long as it doesn't interfere with daily activities is the message. So the point is if you want to address concerns about masturbation, if you do it too much, there's probably ways to do it that don't actually show a kid masturbating. Is the point I would make.
And that's not part of the curriculum.
I said that as one of the first things I said.
But you put it in your presentation.
Yes, because
In the context of this conversation, you
Correct.
have an agenda for that, and it's not about enlightening this room about the sex education curriculum for FCPS.
well,
It's
it is,
something
because
else.
Amaze is a group that you guys are looking to. is
Who's
for
being you
more
guys?
content
What are
for
you talking
FCPS.
about?
Yeah.
The curriculum and instruction department
Yeah,
and
they use
and the flag
They're using
committee
The flag committee are using these videos, so
are viewing these videos.
this could be coming your
And they
way.
have, oh, it could be.
It could be.
You know, I actually came in here with pretty open mind.
In hope that they-
I'm more and more appalled with every second question.
All right, so the other thing is the inclusivity in social studies. This is from MSDA's training. And so they believe that it needs to be in core courses required for graduation. And they believe it's equivalent to, cis heterosexual privilege for our context. So this is one of the messages that is being sent, and I'll get a little more specific about it. So they talk about inclusive school cultures, again, using pronouns, you're supposed to have safe spaces, ensuring gender neutrality, but not just that, but prioritizing minoritized students. And then they have some good things, I think, like addressing gender stereotypes and bigotry, that's all good. And heteronormativity, I completely understand that, and promote positive representation. But the point is, this is being, and I gotta skip through these fast because I'm gonna give April a chance. The message here is like, it's a bad thing, it's harming people basically, it's curriculum violence if you are excluding these things. And some parents simply don't want these topics taught in school. And my point is, whether you're for it or against it, I feel parents' rights should be respected from the most conservative to the most liberal. So why require this as part of the curriculum?
So real quick question, so on that previous slide, what was the major concern out of those 4 categories?
Well, there's a bunch to go into here, but like safe spaces, the whole school building should be a safe place.
But it's not,
Are you?
so let's be
Yeah.
real.
Reality.
And then there's a lot of issues with displaying the pride flag versus, the U.S. flag. I think that's been a debated issue all across Maryland. We shouldn't be promoting any particular point of view. So those would be some of the concerns. And then in terms of equity, the point of this slide is to show you that FCPS is giving training, and some parents will be disagreeing with, having certain materials in their class, and then FCPS is basically developing ready responses. I'd like to read these to respond to parent questions about these things. And so my point here is, again, if you let parents agree to disagree and you just give them an option, all this goes away because you won't be getting questions about, well, my kid's exposed to the quote gay agenda, whatever that means. I never understood what that phrase meant anyway. But if you don't want homosexual materials related to that topic, like a lot of traditional Muslims are very upset about that in Montgomery County. I think the point of school is reading, math, arithmetic, other things. We should be able to find a curriculum that accommodates everyone. All right, and then there's teacher training. So teachers are not required to get this, but you may have teachers that go through this ASEC training. They have the sexual attitude reassessment. They actually use some of the materials, from what I understand from it, you say I should draw a through line, but Alfred Kinsey's, some of his images have been reported to be used as part of this. And they're basically subjected to hours of pornography, which is desensitizing, normalizing extreme behavior. You should really, if you want to understand this more, you can go to this link. You guys can see that later. By a psychologist who was very open to this. He wanted to get into the area of sexuality and education. He was very shocked. There's a lot of focus on bondage, discipline, sadism, and even showing a video of a man beating another man to the wet lip. So this is considered the leading sex education entity in the country. This is like a very high, well-regarded certification. And
So
there's a great podcast you can listen to this psychologist